It was supposed to be a routine systems check. Ronnie, Earth's top tech specialist, had one job: inspect an alien diplomat's neural interface and make sure it didn't fry on her first visit to Earth's orbiting space station. But one curious button, one tiny accidental press, and everything spiraled out of control. Briony, the stunning purple-skinned envoy from the planet Aelexia, didn't just gasp, she blushed, trembled, and panicked. Not because the device failed, but because Ronnie had unknowingly triggered something sacred. In her culture, that button didn't control tech. It activated her bioenhancement bonding response, something designed for courtship and fertility. In simpler terms, Ronnie just turned on her coconuts and her instincts. Now her body's transforming, in ways neither of them expected. Her emotions are unstable, her outfit barely fits, and the station AI is raising alerts. She should be furious. Instead, she's getting attached. And Ronnie? He's realizing he didn't just awaken her biology, he may have awakened her heart. What started as a tech glitch is turning into a galactic love story that even the stars weren't ready for. Ronnie Monroe had repaired everything from crashed lunar drones to malfunctioning Martian oxygen farms, but nothing in his impressive Earthside resume had prepared him for this. Not for her, not for the button, not for what came after. Station Unity floated above Earth's exosphere, a neutral zone between humans and alien ambassadors from the Aelexian Federation. It was pristine, heavily regulated, and full of diplomats too proud to bend a rule, even when their suits glitched or their translators jammed. So when Briony, a high-ranking alien representative with shimmering violet skin and an outfit so advanced it adjusted to her mood, stepped aboard, Ronnie expected the usual: scan the tech, patch the firmware, smile politely. Instead, she caught him completely off guard. Not just by her presence, although that was breathtaking, but by her vulnerability. Her translator panel kept shorting out, flickering with static every time she tried to speak. He approached with caution. "Mind if I check this out?" She gave a hesitant nod. One click to access the device. One blink later, the unexpected happened. The device beeped, and her chest glowed softly, expanded subtly, then not so subtly. Her eyes widened. Her fingers clutched her chest as if he'd broken something sacred. Then she gasped, an audible, mortified sound. Ronnie froze, eyes wide. I didn't mean to." Briony stumbled backward, cheeks flooding with violet blush. You triggered the initiation protocol." "What protocol?" he asked, still staring at the flashing device. She looked down at her rapidly enhancing figure, then back at him, horror in her voice. "You pressed the bonding key." Ronnie blinked. "The what?" "The button that activates physical readiness for mate bonding. Silence. Dead silence. The kind that stretches time and suffocates logic." Ronnie's voice cracked. "I just wanted to stop the static." But Briony wasn't angry. She was flustered, deeply embarrassed, and something else, emotionally overwhelmed. Her breathing changed, her body temperature spiked, and according to Aelexian tradition, the transformation wouldn't stop until the ritual was either completed or officially broken by both parties. "Please," she whispered, trying to cover herself. "Don't look." Ronnie turned around instantly. "I'm not looking. I swear. I'm not. What does this mean exactly?" Briony clutched the translator like a shield. "It means I'm in mating mode, and I can't control how I react to you now. You're chosen." Ronnie's head dropped. "Oh no." "Oh yes," she replied, panicking. "And if anyone finds out, my delegation will demand a trial bond. A public trial bond." Ronnie winced. "Trial bond sounds like a bad soap opera." "It's worse," she said. "It's televised." He ran a hand through his hair, heart pounding. This wasn't just a mess. It was an interspecies diplomatic disaster waiting to explode, and through it all, Briony kept glancing at him with this strange, nervous look, as if her body was reacting on instinct, but her heart was already starting to make its own decision. The station's ceiling panels flickered once, an automated diagnostic sweep. Ronnie barely noticed. His focus was locked on the beautiful, mortified alien standing inches away from him, whose curves had just grown in real time. Briony gripped the edge of the control console, her enhanced chest now pressed tightly against the seams of her diplomatic uniform, the golden threads strained at the edges. Her silver hair cascaded around her shoulders like moonlight, but her wide lavender eyes were filled with panic. "This cannot be happening," she whispered in a low, trembling voice. Ronnie was already pacing. Okay, we hit the wrong button. Fine, that happens. Tech messes up. I've reset quantum drives with less drama. I'll fix it. I'll just reverse whatever that was. "You can't," Briony said quickly, her cheeks glowing deeper violet. "You activated a bio-encoded instinctual protocol. It doesn't reverse." "Excuse me, oh, what now?" She crossed her arms tightly, which only made the situation more obvious and more awkward. "In my species," she explained carefully, "that button exists only to be used by one's chosen partner. It triggers anatomical readiness for union, reproduction, emotional imprinting, everything." Ronnie stared at her. "Did I just propose to you?" he asked. Her eyes widened. "Worse, you just pre-consummated me." He grabbed a nearby chair and slumped into it, rubbing his temples. "I was just trying to fix your translator. And now my body thinks we're bonded." They sat in silence, tension pulsing like energy between them. Briony looked down at herself, then back, at him with an accusing stare, but it wasn't really anger. It was confusion, vulnerability, and something else neither of them could define yet. "I'm going to lose my standing in the diplomatic order," she muttered. "They'll think I engaged a primitive mating ritual with a technician." Ronnie raised an eyebrow. "No offense, but aren't I technically your fiancé now?" Briony let out a frustrated groan. "Why did you even press it?" "It looked like a mute button." She paused. "We don't mute emotions, Ronnie." "Yeah, I'm figuring that out." He stood and reached for the control pad again, cautiously. "Don't!" she yelped, rushing forward and smacking his hand away. Her body jiggled with the sudden motion. Both of them noticed, and both looked away at the same time. "Sorry," she whispered. "It's okay," he replied quickly. "I wasn't looking. I mean, I did, but just out of shock." She blushed again. "It's not just the growth, it's what comes next." "What does come next?" She hesitated. "Mood fluctuations, enhanced sensitivity, proximity attraction, desire suppression failure. Basically, my body now believes you are the only acceptable mate within reach." Ronnie's mouth went dry. "And how long does that last?" Briony looked genuinely sad as she answered, "Until emotional satisfaction is achieved." He coughed. "Which means—" She looked up at him with glowing, desperate eyes. "Until I either bond with you fully or accept heartbreak of E." Station's AI buzzed into life. "Ambassador Briony, your heart rate has increased by 87%. Please report for wellness evaluation." Her expression darkened. "If they run a scan, they'll see the changes, they'll know." "So what do we do?" Ronnie asked. She stepped closer, voice trembling. "We hide, and you don't leave my side. Because the more distance between us, the stronger the urge becomes." Ronnie swallowed. "You're telling me I accidentally made you hyper-attached?" Her eyes met his. "No, Ronnie. I'm telling you. I'm not sure if it's just accidental anymore." "Don't look at me like that," Briony whispered as they ducked into the medical storage bay. "Like what?" Ronnie asked, wide-eyed. "Like you're trying to figure out if I'm going to kiss you or implode. Aren't both still on the table?" Briony's eyes narrowed, but a smile threatened to crack through. "You joke, but my systems aren't. Every second I'm near you, my body calibrates deeper into imprint mode, and if I get scanned, they'll assume we're involved." consensually, physically. And we're not? He asked slowly. She shot him a sharp look. Ronnie held his hands up. Okay, got it. Not involved. Zero involvement. Just a guy who pressed the galactic equivalent of a mating switch. She hissed under her breath, pacing back and forth inside the tiny compartment. Her steps were sharp, graceful. Even in panic, she moved like royalty. But Ronnie could see the conflict eating her up. She was trying to stay diplomatic, composed, but her trembling fingers gave her away. Is it painful? He asked gently. Briony turned to him, surprised. What? This reaction. The change. Is it hurting you? Her voice softened. Not pain. It's like every cell in my body is suddenly listening for your voice. Like I was tuned to a quiet frequency. And now you're the only broadcast. The words made Ronnie's chest tighten. I didn't mean to do this to you, he said. I know, she replied, stepping closer. But your intentions don't cancel the effect. My body's already chosen, and unless I fully reject you, which would be considered a breach of ancient code, I'll stay like this. And rejecting me would trigger internal shutdown, temporary coma, social exile, total loss of honor. So basically, Ronnie said with a sigh, I either go along with it, or you lose everything. She nodded once. He leaned back against the storage wall, exhaling slowly. Great! No pressure. The ship buzzed overhead, a station-wide alert for crew realignment. The system was calling people back to duty zones. Briony tensed. They'll be looking for me. I'm due in the Peace Council chamber in 15 minutes. You can't go like this. She glanced down at her enhanced figure. No kidding. Ronnie looked around, grabbed a lab coat from a hook, and gently wrapped it around her. Here. Not exactly intergalactic fashion, but it'll do. Her hands trembled slightly as they pulled the coat around herself. When her fingers brushed his, she jolted like she'd touched live current. He froze. You okay? Briony looked away. Your touch registers as stimulant. Ronnie tried not to react, but her flushed cheek said it all. Okay, he said, trying to stay calm. So what do we do? Because hiding in here won't work forever. She bit her lip, thinking fast. There's one option. It's risky. I'm listening. There's a sensory stasis pod in the unused meditation deck. If I go inside, it can suppress biological responses temporarily, but only if you stay close. You have to monitor the field manually from the outside. If I go in alone, my nervous system could collapse. He nodded. Done. Briony blinked. You didn't even ask what it cost you. I caused this, Ronnie said firmly. You trusted me with your body's tech and I messed up. The least I can do is stand by you until we fix it. She smiled, a rare, fragile thing. Maybe that's why my instincts chose you. A moment passed between them. Real. Unfiltered. Then Ronnie looked toward the corridor. Lead the way, princess. Briony turned, her tone playfully dry. Don't call me that. It makes the imprint worse. And what should I call you? She paused, glanced over her shoulder. Yours. If you survive this. The meditation deck was quiet, eerily so. No footsteps, no humming crew, just the low ambient hum of power lines running through the walls and the faint pulse of the ship's artificial gravity system. Ronnie stepped cautiously through the door, glancing around. The deck had once been a sanctuary for diplomats and stressed-out officers, but lately it had been used for little more than overflow storage. In the far corner, partially lit by soft cyan lights, stood the stasis pod, sleek, ovular, and just, large enough to cradle someone in suspension. Briony entered behind him, still wrapped in the lab coat, her eyes darting around. Her body was still reacting. Every step made her wince subtly, like her form was struggling to regulate itself. But she said nothing. This is it, she whispered. Ronnie approached the pod and activated the sequence. The unit hissed gently as it opened, revealing a contoured interior designed for zero-gravity sensory suppression. He turned to her. "You sure about this?" She nodded, swallowing. "It's our only option. Once inside, the pod will isolate my hormonal feedback loop, but only if you manually stabilize the modulation ring every 10 minutes. Ronnie smirked. "So basically, babysitting your heartbeat." She looked at him. "My everything." He fell silent. That word hung in the air, heavier than it should have. "Okay," he said finally, clearing his throat. "Climb in. I've got you." Briony stepped forward. Her hand brushed his chest as she steadied herself, and even through the fabric of her gloves she trembled, their eyes locked for a heartbeat too long. Then she lowered herself into the pod. The machine sealed gently around her torso, and a calming blue glow bathed her skin. Her breathing slowed. Her tension eased. Ronnie watched the readings stabilize. Across the control panel, status, neural imprint at 71%. Physical sync, 88%, the system whispered. Ronnie leaned closer to the console. "What's it saying?" Briony spoke softly from within the pod. "It's measuring how much of me thinks I belong to you." "And 88% says I'm yours?" Her eyes fluttered open. "It's not just physical. The imprint bonds mind to memory, sensation to intention. It means I'm not just reacting to what you did." Her voice cracked. "I'm starting to react to who you are." Ronnie sat down beside the pod, stunned. Silence passed between them again, comfortable this time. "I know you didn't mean for this," she continued, her voice weaker. "But part of me wonders if it wasn't meant." He ran a hand through his hair. "I'm just a mechanic. You're a royal envoy from a planet I can't even pronounce properly." "Briony," she whispered. "Huh?" "My name. It means one who chooses, even under pressure. I chose to trust you. Not just because my body demanded it, but because you've never once treated me like a malfunction." Ronnie chuckled. "Yeah, well, I've caused enough of them." She smiled faintly. "But you stayed." Suddenly, the pod flickered. "Warning. Sync destabilizing. Manual input required." Ronnie jumped up, hands moving over the control ring. "I've got it. Don't panic." "I'm not," she said, watching him through the translucent shell. "Not when you're close." The system stabilized. Her body relaxed again, but this time, her lips moved silently. Ronnie couldn't hear her. He leaned closer. "What did you say?" She whispered it again, this time aloud. "If I didn't already love you, I think I would now." Ronnie's throat tightened. The machine sealed again, drawing her into deeper suppression, but her words stayed with him, louder than any alarm. And for the first time, he realized this wasn't just her body reacting anymore. His heart was answering. 2 hours passed. The glow of the stasis pod pulsed rhythmically, like the beat of a second heart inside the room. Ronnie sat beside it, knees drawn up, his eyes fixed on the shifting light that washed over Briony's peaceful face behind the glass. Every 10 minutes, he reached forward and stabilized the modulation ring. Every 10 minutes, he reminded her body she wasn't alone. Every 10 minutes, he fell a little deeper. The ship hummed softly, but everything else was still. No AI alerts, no footsteps, no diplomats, just them, her in suspension, him stuck between guilt and gravity. Ronnie leaned back against the wall, arms folded across his chest. "This wasn't supposed to happen," he whispered. "I was just supposed to fix your tech, not fall for the girl wearing it." He looked at her again. She was still, but something about her expression had changed. She wasn't tense anymore. Her lips were parted slightly. Her brow relaxed. The system beeped. Neural imprint, 91%. Risk of emotional permanence rising. He blinked. "Wait, emotional permanence?" Suddenly, the pod hissed and unsealed early. The glow dimmed. Briony gasped, Her eyes snapped open, glimmering with that violet fire he'd only seen once when she first arrived. She sat up fast, clutching her chest. The oversized lab coat slipped off one shoulder. Her body was no longer trembling, it was reaching. "Ronnie," she breathed, eyes locking on his. I couldn't feel you. I thought you left." "I've been here the whole time," he said, stunned. "You were safe." "No," she shook her head, voice cracking. "Safe isn't what I wanted. I wanted you." She slid out of the pod slowly. Her body was still in its enhanced state, but there was something different now. The way she walked, the way she looked at him. Her instincts weren't just reacting, they were choosing. She stood in front of him, breath quickened. "It's not just protocol anymore. The longer I stayed in there, the clearer it got. Every signal led back to one thing," he swallowed. "What?" "You." Ronnie froze, pulse racing. "Briony, this started with a mistake." "Then maybe," she whispered, stepping even closer. "You were the mistake I was supposed to make." He stared into her eyes. They shimmered, not just with biological energy, but with raw emotion. "Do you want me?" she asked. "Or are you just trying to be the good guy who fixes the glitch?" Ronnie's voice dropped. "I don't know when it happened. Maybe it was the way you didn't scream when your world flipped, or how you held on to dignity even when your own body betrayed you. But I don't see a glitch." He stepped closer. "I see someone worth every protocol I'd break." The room around them gently shifted, the artificial gravity cycling through its calibration pattern. For a few seconds, everything lifted. Loose tools floated. A forgotten datapad drifted upward, and they hovered. Zero gravity. Briony reached for him. Their bodies barely touched. But their hearts collided. Her forehead met his. Her voice was barely audible. "I'm scared of how real this feels," he smiled. "I'm scared it won't stop feeling real." And then, in the center of a floating world, with no ground under, their feet, they kissed, not because her body demanded it, but because his soul did. The gravity returned with a soft thunk, settling everything and everyone back in place. Ronnie stumbled slightly, catching Briony's arm as she adjusted to her feet again. Their lips had just parted, but something unspoken still lingered in the air between them. It wasn't awkward, it was sacred, like the space between a heartbeat and a vow. Briony touched her chest lightly. The energy flow from the bonding interface had calmed. No more pulses, no more flares. "It's stabilizing," she whispered. "I've never seen it do that without completion or rejection." Ronnie stepped closer. "So, what does that mean?" Her gaze locked onto his. "It means my body no longer sees you as a possibility. It sees you as a partner." The bond didn't need a ritual. It needed truth. A soft chime interrupted them. "Diplomatic summons, Briony of Aelexia. Report to Council Chamber 01. Violation of genetic integrity protocols under review." She closed her eyes and exhaled. "They know." Ronnie's jaw tightened. "I'll go with you." She turned sharply. "No, Ronnie. If they scan you, they'll know your biology was affected too. You'll lose your Earth credentials, your position, everything." He gave a lopsided grin. "I've already lost sleep, privacy, and the last clean towel I owned. I might as well lose my job for something that actually matters." "Don't joke about this." "I'm not. Look, if I caused this, I'll face the music. But if I chose this?" He reached for her hand. "Then I'm standing with you no matter what species, court, or galaxy says otherwise." Briony stared at him, eyes glistening. Then she nodded. They walked together into the council chamber, a vast, sterile dome lined with beings from 10 different planets. The air was tense. The diplomat stared. The lead Aelexian elder, draped in silver robes, rose slowly. "Briony, you have been scanned. You are 94% bonded with a human. This is a breach of protocol." Ronnie stepped forward. If she broke the rule, so did I. I pushed the button. I'll accept whatever punishment. But, Briony raised a hand. He didn't bond me. I bonded him. Gasps echoed. The elder leaned forward. Then say it clearly, Briony, for the record. She turned to Ronnie, took his hand, and spoke, not in fear, not in defense, but in pride. I am Briony of Aelexia. My instincts chose him, but my heart followed. This was not coercion. This was not accident. This was connection. Silence followed. The elder finally spoke again. Then, by Aelexian law, your bond is recognized. The room buzzed with disbelief. Briony turned to Ronnie, stunned. That's it? The elder nodded. Alexia's laws have changed since your last visit. Love is no longer outlawed when... It's mutual. Briony covered her mouth. Her eyes welled. Ronnie whispered, So I'm not getting vaporized? She laughed. You're getting... married. He blinked. Huh? She grinned. Symbolically for now. Legally. Soon enough. He scratched the back of his neck. I guess I really did push the ultimate button, huh? She leaned in, pressed her forehead to his. You didn't just push it, she murmured. You awakened it. As they exited the chamber, hand in hand, species and future now entangled, Ronnie glanced at her with a crooked smile. So? Your coconuts feeling okay now? She burst into laughter. They're out of control, but so is my love for you. The stars outside burned brighter than ever.